Good morning, this is Elisa. Welcome back to another episode of RSI in the Classroom. This episode's a little different because we're going to be answering the question, why are we doing this? And aside from the most obvious answer of it's the right thing to do if we want to be supporting our students and doing, the job that we all signed up to do, then that is why we are looking at regular and substantive interaction in our online courses. But I know the question means something a little bit different, like why now? Why is this such a big deal? And so that's what I'm going to cover today. Well, for the most, the best answer, I guess, is the obvious answer, and that is that the Department of Education is mandating that colleges have RSI in their online classrooms. Now, for many years, the Department of Education regulations required for institutions to engage in regular and substantive interaction, especially with the distance education. Now, the requirement for that was a result of being eligible for Title IV financial aid. So in order for us to offer distance education courses and then be able to offer financial aid to our students, we needed to have this RSI. But it wasn't until 2019 that they started to address the fact that many colleges were not doing the RSI in their online courses. So basically what it boils down to is, and I'm going to read this to you and I'll put it on the screen. Institutions for which a significant percentage of courses are found to be out of compliance during a Department of Education audit may be required to repay past Title IV financial aid and become ineligible for future Title IV financial aid. So basically they're saying that if we don't comply with RSI in our online courses, that we can not only lose the opportunity to have financial aid for our students, but we may have to pay it back, and that would be horrible. So that's why they're starting to crack down a little bit more, because after COVID or during COVID, there were a lot of online courses that were developed, out of necessity. I mean, many of us didn't have a clue about teaching online, and here we are doing it after 2 weeks notice, right? And so now they're starting to crack down on those courses and making sure that we get back to what it was that we were initially supposed to be doing in regards to RSI. So here at GCC, what we are going to be doing is following a few strategies that are considered helpful for regulating and monitoring RSI in online classes. So it might seem like we're coming for you, but that's not the idea here. We're here to help you. So there's a whole list of things that we can be doing to help with it. So when HLC and Department of Education come looking at GCC for how we're doing with our online classes, we're going to be prepared because we are going to be doing these things. First, we're going to establish RSI policies. And right now we're in a different phase where we're just sort of trying to inform you of what it is and what can be done. But we will have soon some clear RSI policies for all of us to be able to look at and to communicate with each other, and then decide if that's what we're going to be doing in our classes. So establishing RSI policies. Also providing training and support. That's the big one, and that's part of this too, these video series that we're creating. We're also creating a FPG course that is going to be approved hopefully at the end of this month or early next month. We're sending it in, but you'll all be trained in RSI, and then we also will be offering support. We're already doing that through the CTLE and through your e-courses coordinators. So that's the second thing that we're doing. A third thing that we're doing is we're doing course design and review. And so just today we are announcing our e-courses review refresh reviews, and you can sign up to have your course reviewed. Now part of that review is not just the traditional standards for online courses, but RSI is built into that as well. So we'll be looking at that and we'll be able to give you feedback on that. So that's the third one. That's really good. So again, this is part of our strategy for helping us to monitor and regulate RSI at GCC. So all of these things together will make us look very good not just look good, but it'll make us be good in our efforts for RSI in the classroom. Now, another one is peer observation and evaluation. So we have that part built into our course review process, but it's also going to be an option for those of you who just want to do a quick sit down and talk with a peer about what you're doing in your class and whether or not it's considered RSI. And so we'll do that, and you'll hear more about that coming. But it's nice just to get a second look to see what you think might work. Remember in our first video we talked about office hours and how everyone thought office hours met the standard, but it really doesn't unless you're doing it in a particular way. So we'll have an opportunity for you to sit down with someone and do a peer observation. Another one is, and this is a future video coming up, technology tools and analytics. We have a lot of analytics built into Canvas, and many of you are not aware of that or not using that, but we'll talk about how you can use some of those analytics to help you monitor and track your students in the work that they're doing, and to be able to reach out and engage with them more. A lot of times we just look at the grade and say, oh, they're not doing very well. But the analytics will tell you a little bit more about why they're not doing well. So we'll have a quick video on that. Also, student feedback is going to be important. I think we had a great discussion in our CTLE meeting, synergy meeting yesterday, with Kurt talking about the student feedback forms for our FEPs and how many of us do those student feedback forms at the end of the semester, and it's really not helpful for us, right? Because that semester's over. But it might be better to offer those student surveys in the middle of the semester when you can actually do something about the feedback that you get from students. So their experience is important to us, and finding out what they're experiencing should be important to us as well. So I would just simply ask questions about what I'm doing or what I've changed in regards to RSI, and asking students if they find that helpful. In fact, I'm doing that this week, week 5. I like to do that. All right, also we have quality assurance process is another suggestion, and that's sort of built into our peer review process. So we'll hear more about that later once we get going with it. But also faculty support and mentoring. And so that's the last one that I wanted to end with, because we have that built into our strategic plan, our e-courses strategic plan, with our department e-courses coordinators. Now, many of you are not aware of that. Department chairs oftentimes are not utilizing this role very well to help them manage online courses. But there's a whole list of opportunity and of roles and duties that an e-courses coordinator can and should do if the chair wants to take advantage of that. But one of the things is that they are support and mentors for the online faculty in that department. So look at the list again. I post it not each time, but every so often in the newsletter I post the link to the peer coordinators. You should know who that person is, because they're the person sending you this video, this newsletter, right? So be aware of that person and start asking them for support, asking them for questions. Bring them into your department meetings to quiz them. And also, I'm also a peer, being in the English department. Although I am e-courses faculty lead for the whole college, I don't just represent my department. So if you want me to come to your department to talk about RSI and what we're doing and why we're doing this, I'd be happy to do that, and also to provide support and help you develop your own plan. So while GCC is going to have a very broad plan with our goals and our policies for RSI, your department can still do something similar, taking what we have in the broader picture and then narrowing it down to focus more on what your goals might be for your department. That is fine as well. If you need help with that, I can also help you with that, and your e-courses coordinator can help you with that. So that's basically the answer to why we're doing this. We want to make sure that we're doing the best for our students and providing the best educational experience for them, but also we want to be in compliance with both HLC and the Department of Education so that we don't lose our financial aid. That's it. All right, if you have any questions, you know what to do.